Quiet, stop walking. Be quiet, don't move. Be quiet, stop talking. Be quiet, don't move. Quiet, stop walking. Somebody's talking. Be quiet, stop walking. Somebody's talking. Quiet, stop walking. Somebody's talking. Be quiet, stop walking. Somebody's talking. Quiet, stop walking. Somebody's talking. Be quiet, stop walking. Somebody's talking. Quiet, stop walking. Be quiet, don't move. Be quiet, stop talking. Be quiet, don't move. Quiet.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another Behind the Investigation Live Q&A this time. Q&A. So get those questions ready. Get those questions ready for Pasadena Paranormal. Hi, I'm Jared. Florida. Amber.
And I'm
Steve
Ed.
from Kindred Paranormal. Restless Spirits had a good video. Yes, go blue, Jim. Go blue. First Capital, what's up? Faja, hey, what's going on, Faja? Happy Friday, everybody. Mario, what's up, brother? Mario had a premiere earlier. If you missed it, check that out. Restless Spirits had a video from Bobby Mackey's. Go ahead and check that out. And, you guys can throw your links in here whenever you want. Links for your videos, anything. Go ahead. Totally free. So tonight is question and answer session, but we want to give a few updates. But first of all, fellers, how was your weekend or your week?
Always good on this front.
Oh, you live down there in South Carolina, and you're always surprised.
Happy.
How was yours, Ed?
It's been an interesting day for me.
We won't get into that, though.
No,
Ed, everybody else,
unless you want
thank you
to.
for your service. Ed, thank you for your service.
Thank you for your support.
Hey, Mario, what's up?
I shared it with you guys. I mean, that tells you guys something. In fact, I shared that with you.
So we will be getting into a Q&A here real soon. So everybody, I want you to get your questions ready. Please ask away. An hour. We'll be live an hour. We don't go over an hour anymore. Amber. We'll be hey, Jerry, thank you. So
a goat.
That's because she's got all those goats
I know
down there.
she has one of them goats. She has a farm.
It does have a lot of goats. So the last week, all right, Brent, hold on to that telekinetic question.
What? All right.
We'll pull them up. So it looks like telekinetic's got the first question. We'll answer that in a second. All right. So me, Ed, and Jackie, we investigated the Bohemian House in Ellicott City last week. There was a live stream from Facebook and YouTube, and I've been looking over the evidence, the data collected, and I sent a EVP to the fellers right here today. And what do you think, guys?
Yeah.
We'll do when you guys hear this. It ain't no whispering, I'll tell you that.
No, it ain't no whisper.
You don't have to.
You know something? Catching one, I'm glad we were able to catch it because there's so much outside interference there. I mean, if you saw my live,
you were live, when Jared was live, it was dead.
Yeah, when I was live, I mean, the night was still young and a big old group of girls out in front of the store and everything. I'm like, hey, let's go, get out of here.
Hey,
Joe, working in the corner.
What's going on, Joe? So yes, this is a Q&A. First, we're going to give some updates from what's going on. Bohemian House. It looks like we'll be going back to Bohemian House in January. And, our channel consists of the case files, which is typically an unedited video, raw video. But Brent is working on a 3-part edited case files from the Rising Sun Inn, which we'll have for you soon. Our investigation series, which is the full documentary, edited and put together. And now with the news that I got today, what's up, Steve? Jill, thank you for coming in. With the news that I got today, it looks like we'll be working on a haunting on Main Street, Ellicott City series for everybody, which to go along with the Haunted Carlisle series should be a good thing for the channel and for Pasadena Paranormal.
I know. I just want to touch on this one real quick. My question: can you please do a live for an investigation? We have December 9th. There.
Who said that?
We do almost every investigation.
But
yep,
the whole investigation live. So we're actually doing a 2-hour live investigation on the 9th at BHH.
So Jill, I know you're Brian W., but I know you're Jill. So Jill, December 9th, this show will be live from inside the Benson Hammond house for an hour to do our podcast, which is what we're doing now. And then after the podcast, we're going to break into a 2-hour live stream investigation from the Benson Hammond house. And it should be fun. It should be fun.
I'm excited.
Benson Hammond house never disappoints. Never disappoints.
I mean, we can't guarantee anything, but
we can't guarantee.
Hasn't disappointed us yet.
I think we can guarantee some Christmas decorations. So,
hello, Anita. And Jackie is very excited to go there and help. Hello, Carol. It is, and that will be on Facebook and YouTube. So that should be fun. I just can't make the link right now because Facebook. Hey, Joe, what's up, brother? Facebook doesn't allow you to make a live stream a week out from the date. So pay attention to December 2nd because it'll be out then. Also, if you follow up to the top, we have a premiere Monday from the Oddfellows Hall in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. If you're on YouTube, if you scroll up to the top, there's a link. We'll be premiering that Monday the 14th at 9:15. No Wednesday premiere this week, Monday premiere, and it's not a case files. It's the real deal. What do you guys think about that investigation?
Awesome.
Why do I have a Michigan hat on? Because I'm a Michigan Wolverines fan since I was 10 years old, Steve. When are you guys coming down to NC? Well, it's funny because Ed was here today and we were talking about that, right, Ed?
Yeah. I wanted to go to historic Halifax. There's like a whole little old town. They got a jail and everything like that. And it's halfway. I mean, look, Jackie can do a travel video. Brent doesn't have to drive as far. We drive down.
How about it?
And yes, we all like to thank Edward for his service.
Yes,
Happy Veterans Day.
Support.
Happy Veterans Day to all the veterans in the chat and to our very special veteran right there sitting in front of us, our brother.
Appreciate it.
Yep. All right. So with that being said, Monday premiere. If you missed the case files from Wednesday, go ahead and check that out. It's the last video from the Laurel investigation and the Bohemian House. Very cool. Very cool investigation. So we'll open it up to questions. Does anybody have any questions?
I'll
read telekinetics right now.
I don't know if it was really a question, but yeah, go ahead.
It's not?
It doesn't look like a question.
No, it's more of a
It's an update. It was just a statement, an update.
Okay, well then we'll take that off. Let's see if we have any questions in here. It's so hot today, man. I can't believe how hot it is in frickin' November.
There's one. Go old school with a cassette tape recorder for EVPs.
Yeah, that's what we used to do.
That's what we used to do.
I have been doing this long enough to be using cassette recorders.
I
I'm
had
a digital baby.
I had an awesome one I loved, and I have no clue what happened to it. It was nice too. But no, right now we don't have cassette tapes. We had high 8 Sony handy cams was our first cameras, and I tell you what, I loved those too.
First
the pictures way better than what we got now. But
oh, Jill, I wish. Hey, Stacy, what's up? Thanks for coming in. Yeah, me and Brent used to go out there with high 8 analog cameras and little tape cassette recorders, and
it was cool though because those high 8s still hadn't it had a digital output, so it was an analog recorder, analog device, but it would translate it to digital, so you could actually upload from that tape to your laptop. Or we never would have got it done. It was awesome, The pixtures were nowhere near as clear as they are now, but
it's very grainy, and sometimes you would get that pixelation in there.
Yeah.
All right, we got a few questions. Hold on. I think there are 2 questions that are asking the same thing. So, Jim from Restless Spirit says, "Do you feel spirits can see colors?" And if you go down here to Crafty, spirits can tell you colors, so I would say yes.
Yeah. We've asked that question before.
And I'm still curious about it too, like how much of this is coincidence, or hey, how many times have you had a K2? I'm like, hey, can you light that up to yellow or red?
You see what color my shirt is.
Yeah, exactly.
That happens on every investigation.
Right. But I've been curious about that too. Like, what do they see? How they see? And on that note, I want to add another comment to it. Like, I'm always curious how they're seeing. But Jared, you got that one. I think it was through that. I can't remember if it was EchoVox or the Scottish Paranormal app. When you're doing an investigation at Rose Farm.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
and I think you were told they said happy birthday or something like that to you. You got goosebumps. You actually said, "Oh my gosh, you got goosebumps." And it said something like goosebumps through that, or right after. I can't remember the order, but what came through was goosebumps.
Yeah, through the EchoVox.
And my thought on that was, if they can see the goosebumps on your skin, that's texture. That's actually fine texture. That's detailed texture. That's saying something about their perception of how things
our
are.
reality.
And I'm not convinced that our reality isn't their reality. So, but the fact that they can actually see it and comment on it, I would say color's probably in there too.
Riley asked, "Do you think there's more interaction when investigating at night or when it's daytime?" Time doesn't exist to spirit. Go ahead, Eric.
That depends on spirit. I mean, like, one of the questions that I get asked for people who don't do this, why is it always at night? And the number one answer is not because, the ghosts only come out at night. It's because that's when you can eliminate all them outside variables. You can eliminate as many things as possible and say, hey, we had total control of this environment. I mean, it's kind of like fishing. Everybody thinks, you need to go fishing early in the morning because that's the only time fish are hungry. If a fish is hungry, a fish is going to eat that worm regardless.
I caught some 5-pound bass in 7:30 at night.
See?
Well, yeah. I mean, you're gonna talk cool of the day. I'll get into fishing talk with you, but that's not the comment. That's not something. But I'm a fisherman. But I will say I want to comment on this one too, because I agree with Ed. I think if it's quiet and your sensory is opened up, or if you're using devices, it really is. If they're open to communicate, no matter what time of day, you don't need the lights off. You don't need them on. It's whatever. If they're there and they're going to communicate, they're going to communicate. That's how I feel about it. I do think I don't completely agree with they don't experience time. I don't really know that that's
but time. If you think about it, time is something that is relative to our reality.
But who's to say they're not a part of our reality? They're interacting with our reality, so they're a part of it. You know, that's just like saying, you know, radiation isn't a part of our reality. You can't see it, but you can experience, you can, detect it, so we're detecting them. They're a part of this reality. And time is just a measurement of a change. So that they have a concept of time, to some degree, I would believe. How that is, I don't know. So I wouldn't say they don't have a concept of time. If they can see the sun or the moon, ask that question. Do you know if is it daytime or nighttime out right now?
We'll have to ask that question.
And hey, Marilyn had added on to this and hit it real quick. She asked also about with a thunderstorm with interaction. And there's been so many theories with full moon versus no moon, a storm coming in, this one. I've investigated so many different conditions, and none of that has really affected anything one way or the other, really. I think it's all just based on where you're at, how you're investigating, and how spirit wants to interact with you. I don't think that the moon and the storm and all the other stuff has anything to really play into that.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I mean, there's ancient beliefs. There's definitely ancient beliefs that, like solstices and all, winter solstice or whatever may, whatever, thin the veil or so. I mean, how many times have you heard that All Hallows Eve is the time when, so who knows? I just think they're here.
Yeah.
They're here walking around.
Yeah. Or whatever.
Joe's got a good question there.
Yeah, Joe does have a good question. I think we're going to have different opinions on this one.
Spirits can see each other from other time periods, not of their own. That's a very good question. That would be fighting the different planes of existence, I would think.
Right. So, I mean, the concept would be that if you died what would differentiate a time period? Like who's governing what spirit cutoff is? Okay, you died, on a Thursday, on 1942, and it's 1943 now, so you can't be with this group.
You would think that they could, though. They could see others like them.
I don't understand how they couldn't. If they can see us and interact, we get conversations all the time, and who's to say that conversation is with someone who died in the same year they did?
The down in the basement when we left the Echovox running in the Rising Sun Inn the first time we were there was full on conversation being had between spirit.
Yeah, but the thing is that spirit the same time period, or is that multiple planes of spirits coming into one another? I will say, with Des, I did a location up in Hamden, up in Baltimore, right? And every time we walk downstairs, like you could just feel a different time era going on. Like you're talking about like back in the 1800s, and then, you walk in there, it's like, man, I feel like I'm more in the Prohibition era. Like it just felt like the room changed completely.
Would you think that you're just gleaning that because that's what a spirit is giving you? Like because you're just reading into their where they were? I mean,
that's the thing. I mean, and it's so difficult to tell.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, so if Bob died in the 1800s and he's near you and you're getting it, I mean, could Sam from 1902 walk up and all of a sudden you get a shift? They're both right there, technically.
Which one is coming through more? Which one's got more energy to break through that line?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all just scratching the surface.
May not know.
Need to be.
Yeah, we don't know. Yeah, there's
further research is needed, and a lot of things. Dan,
trying to think of it on a level of how if they are able to communicate, no matter what era they're from, they died. They're interacting with this physical reality, and they're all doing it essentially the same exact way. It makes sense that they're all. If they have access here, they have access to somewhere to whatever they're at. It's all, to me, it just seems like it's all one big place. They're right here, Yep. But yeah, so you got that question there, Jared. Amber had one she popped up too. I don't know where we are now.
from Kindred as well, and we got one from Through the Veil. Thank you for stopping in Through the Veil. First, ghost hunting equipment.
Our first ghost hunting equipment, we had a digital recorder. We made EM pumps, and I think that was it.
And then we the first things that we had were the cassette digital voice recorder, and we created our own,
oh yeah, the cassette digital recorder. And yeah, we made
and we recorded our own or made our own EM pumps, which we still do.
There is still audio from our early investigations out there on the interwebs floating around. Every once in a while, I'll go search for them. I'll find them. Like, oh, hey, that's right. Oh, man.
That DR60, that's a good one. And they all captured different things. That's a pretty good. I like my old non-SD card Sony.
That's what I was using for a while. I think I just need to upgrade. I mean, because I had a digital record. Like when I got with the other team and went out with them, I was like, eBay or not eBay, Amazon digital recorder. Was it K2 or I got the ghost meter? No, I was trying to hunt on a budget here. You know.
Yeah.
I got a point and shoot camera. And I got the Maglite flashlight. You know.
Yeah,
and that's all I started with.
Yep, you don't really need much.
I don't think you need much at all. I think if you're going to start getting into, I'm probably sounding like a broken record. You start buying more stuff. Make sure you understand exactly how it works. Don't just buy it because everybody's using it.
I mean, to me, nothing beats the Maglite in a voice recorder. If you got them two, gold.
I think a nice EMF meter too. It should be along in the kit. The one that I got is actually really good on Amazon. It's like
the one you just got.
Yeah,
the one that I have.
Yeah,
it's a decent.
It's
like meter.
That is it's way cheap.
It's a decent meter. Yeah, for the especially for the price. So.
Through the Veil says, "What about Polaroid cameras, man? I wish we could find the old school Polaroid cameras."
I have it. I have a Polaroid camera.
Hey, I might know somebody that has one, guys.
Just stop.
But can we find the film?
I do have a Polaroid camera, but I honestly don't feel like sitting on a bunch of Polaroids of just.
Yeah.
You know, because that's just a lot. The digital takes up a lot less space and it's cheap.
you can take digital and put it on a computer and adjust the light to see if you see something. Because so many people these days, and you know, if I can say it wrong, the Paradelio, however you say it. Yep. You know, and like, oh, look at this. But if you play with the light just a little bit, you can eliminate that. And then you don't have anything.
And the fact is, you know, light is funny. Light and shadow will trick your eye every time. So with a Polaroid camera, if, you know, typically you're moving, you're not steady. If it's, you know, the lighting's wrong, you could see something that's not there. I mean, but I think if something was going to appear and you were going to capture it with a camera, you're gonna get it with no matter what camera you're using.
Yeah,
I like your phone, Brent. The way that it takes pictures, and so Brent's phone.
I think a lot of phones do it now too, though. But yeah,
it takes all the ambient light in the room to brighten the picture when it's in total darkness, and it helps bring things out. To me, it looks like it helps bring out whatever's in the photo.
Yeah, I think the only kicker with it is you got to be steady. You can't be moving around at all. For every little shift in movement, it's going to blur it up a little bit.
So, hey, I want to hit on something here real quick. Through the Veil, they say the Ghost Meter Pro is fake. That's one of them apps, right, that you download on your phone, the Ghost Meter?
Oh, probably. I have no idea.
So here's my thing with those, because I get asked about these all the time. Anytime we do a public tour, hey, I got this my phone. And the thing I got to remember was using something that's easily influenced, and the stuff is based off ad revenue to the version, you know. So they'll go somebody, you're gonna be, oh my, look, there's a ghost right here, you know, and your phone's it's made to do that. I don't.
Yeah.
To me, if you're going to use something like that, it's a tool to help you get into things, but not a tool to rely on. You know, like when we investigate, hey, we got this. Well, let's go back and try and debunk it. Let's take multiple levels. You know, now if you're using something like that and like your little ghost radar says, "Oh, there's a ghost next to me," and you're using a flashlight, and you're like, "Hey, somebody stand next to me," and the light comes on. Maybe, you know, but
tell me how that meter works.
What's a grain of salt?
Like, what's the science behind the
Yeah.
ghost meter? Tell me there's a ghost.
Yeah.
Yeah. If they can tell you this app can detect a spirit, then they better be able to tell you exactly what a spirit is. Like what
And tell
is it
you how it works.
and don't accept, oh, it's made of energy.
If you got to see an ad to open up the app, or while you're using it, it wants to play an ad, or it's got stuff scrolling across the bottom,
Yeah.
it's probably not real.
Yeah.
It's not legit. The only app that we use is the EchoVox and Scottish Paranormal.
Yeah, we haven't used that one in a while.
I know we should use it more often. So Florida, that's the one thing. The one thing that I don't like about the K2 is it just lights up. I mean, it has a grid on it, but it doesn't give you a specific reading on what's going on and what the spike is.
Yeah, what exact milligauss it's reading.
I'd like to know what the exact milligauss reading is when we get a spike. And the meters that me and Brent have now, they're like a millimeter, and they tell you exactly what the spike is. Joe, yes. If you haven't seen Joe, go ahead, put that in here. You can put that link in here, brother. Joe had a Polaroid ghost from LA, a video.
Yeah.
That out. Question. Amber's question.
Yeah, here we go. Amber's question.
Go ahead, Brent, if you want to read it.
All right. Do you think that during an intelligent haunting, let's say in a house, do you think spirits see their own furniture still, or know the home is different?
That's a very good question.
I mean, I'll say this from the experience that we've had, and different stories we've heard. This will be my comment to it. I think back to places like Benson Hammond House and other historical sites like the mansion, Wareheim Myers, where a lot of stuff is the same, or brought in. So the house is pretty much how it was. And the comments to that show it. Like, this is my house, or, my room or whatever it is. I don't want that person in my house. And as far as furniture goes, I'm sure they do. If they can see us, that's the thing. Like, I just can't get my head around that they're just living in the life with like a timeless, like time just stopped and they're just living there. And yet they're able to see us and communicate with us. If they can see you, then they can see the chair next to you. And they can see this lamp above. They can see everything in this room if they can see you.
We've captured SLS captures with figures sitting on the furniture.
Yeah.
So
that's true too. So if that chair wasn't there before, if it really was a spirit sitting there, then you'd think that. That being, you also hear about a lot of activity getting stirred up when people renovate. Why would there be a stir up in renovation if all they ever saw was what was in their house when they died? That's just my opinion, but I just don't see it being much different than that. But Amber, you and Ed have different abilities here, so
you hear them bumps in, during the night and everything. Maybe it's the spirit walking through and stubbing their toe in that new piece of furniture you put in.
Damn thing wasn't there before. That Amber asked me the other day if she could be on panel one night.
Oh, that would be awesome.
So I mean, we can work that out, Amber, if you want to. Ed's our team sensitive, and
still in training.
Got similar abilities.
Yeah.
Telekinetic says he was asked spirit in my apartment. Let's see if the stick's right next to the light turned on. I love the flashlight session, especially after the Bohemian House and the amount of interaction we got from the flashlight that seemed direct, and that was setting off the Bible box. 4 separate times.
Yeah.
4. Light would go off, Bible box, ultrasonic technology bouncing off, coming back. Something broke the beam.
Broke the beam, or there's different things that could do it, but yeah, typically it's just sound. Yeah.
Very interesting, though. Very interesting. We got another one here. Do you guys believe that we have spirit guides? I'm going to leave that up to Ed.
Yeah, do you believe you have spirit guides?
Oh,
I
yeah.
think you refer to family members. I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
You see this behind me in my background? That's where my spirit guide is. But Ed, go ahead.
that's the thing is, we call it. I believe we all have spirit protecting us one way or another, and we may know, we may not know who it is. I mean, I feel that my grandfather protects me, and sometimes he comes through, and sometimes he doesn't. It's just, it's hard to say exactly who your guides are. And I know a lot of people are able to tap into that, and I'm still trying to figure it out and everything. I know that I got an old guy, and I mean, the best way I can describe him when I've actually seen him is Moses. Like, I see an old guy, like he's walking through a desert with a staff and everything. I'm just like, oh, okay. And like when I saw him, let me come back for a second, because I'm getting a little bit deeper than I might be ready for. Yeah. And I think I need to get back into that getting deeper stage of my spiritual journey again with that. But I believe we're protected by angels or spirit, whatever you want to say it is. And regardless of what side it is, if it's family, somebody and something is protecting us from the other side.
It's a very, Steve says we have spirit tell us that he can see auras and know a person's energy when they come into a room and know what type of person someone is. We always say spirit knows intention. Spirit knows intention, and when you're there for a good reason and for a solid purpose, it's going to open up the interaction and help you build that bridge easier, I think.
I think it can. I mean, that doesn't mean you're always going to have it. We've had experiences where obviously our intentions are just to communicate. Our intentions never change. Communicate, help a location. We help this location. We feel we're helping them out because we're bringing some kind of monetary assistance, whatever it is, and we just want to know. But we've been shut down before. Recently, we've been shut down. They've been like, just get out. Our intentions were there. We're good, as far as we're concerned.
We tried like hell to build that bridge. We were fucking working overtime.
One time. I mean, that was just our first time there. So
that bridge built. Time was invented by a man to keep us busy. I think so too.
Yeah. I think I disagree. Time was invented. Time was invented so we can measure from here to here how much time does it take to get this to do something, or for the seasons to change.
We got Amber's.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. I was going to say Amber's recent comment here about 10 people going to investigation, one gets contact. That happened last week. Jared and I weren't getting all the contact that we normally get, but you know who got more contact? Jackie.
I heard.
Yeah, she handled it like a pro. Like,
I just want to say, I'll let you get right back into that, but I just want to say Jackie knocked it out the frickin' park last week. I was so proud of her, the way she handled herself. I said to her on the ride home, it's 2:00 in the morning. I'm driving. I looked over at her. I was like, honey, look at you. Turning it to a little investigator. I'm so fucking proud of you.
Yeah, because back at Gresham, she'd be like, I'm not doing this, no. And it's like, hey, we want the lady, and her and Tiffany went in there and they did it. I mean, it was great to have Tiffany there to work with Jackie, because we wouldn't gotten that interaction, I don't think.
She did some solo work. Jackie did solo work. We were outside. She was in that out by herself in total darkness. I was like, good job, honey. Good job. She wouldn't have done that in Gresham.
No, there's no way. I think Gresham, if we go back and look at that video, she's on one of our hips the entire night. She didn't go more than her arm's length away from either one of us.
But I love seeing the gradual progression. Awesome. Ghost Hunters is the reason why I have the lights off.
On Ghost Hunters, the reason why they have the lights off is to get a better result than with the lights on. And I don't necessarily agree that having the lights off gets anything better. I do think if you turn the lights off, it's hard for you to see. I do feel like for all of us, your senses will heighten. You know, your hearing kicks in, even your sight. You know, your pupils dilate. You try to draw more light, and you're just more aware of what's going on.
Well, here's the thing too to look at. We use a flashlight session, right? If we're sitting in a dark room and them lights go on, we know the light went on. But if we got lights on in the room, we may miss it, right? Yeah. Then you got shadow work, you know, and I was seeing shadows, not knowing I was seeing them for a long time. I thought it was my eyes playing tricks on me. So I went out with an antedum, and Jeremy's like, "Hey Ed, do you see them shadows up there?" I'm like, "Oh, my eyes are playing tricks." He goes, "No, you're seeing shadows, dude." And he rolled a little glow ball up to the front of the room, and then I could see stuff moving in front. I'm like, holy crap. I mean, this is like a year and a half of me investigating. I'm like, okay, well, this hasn't been my eyes playing tricks on me. That's stuff I'm not going to see during the daylight or with lights on. And like you said, Brent, we're heightened then.
Yeah. I've always said that I see better in the dark. You know what I'm saying?
And I used to have, I don't know how much I agree with this anymore, but I used to have a theory in my head that, when we turn the lights off, we make ourselves a little vulnerable. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying go into a place making yourself vulnerable. That sounds stupid. But the thought behind it was there's a vulnerability that you put yourself in, when the lights are off, and that it may create a comfort for someone who is feeling vulnerable and uncomfortable. And that may help you, help them maybe communicate more.
Yeah.
Well, out of the Oddfellows, there was a little bit of a darker one there that liked to impose his little will on people. I feel
you're gonna come across them.
Up at the top, there is a link for Monday's premiere. Go up there and check that out. Hope to see everybody Monday, because this is a good one. This isn't a case files. This is a real one. This is the real deal investigation here with the editing and the put together stuff. And hope to see everybody there. It's a good one. So the Shanghai tunnels can be investigated in the day because it's so far in the ground. We are working on a cave in Ellicott City, which I can't wait to do an Estes session in. And I can't wait to do a solo in. What do you guys think about the cave?
Well, I haven't seen it yet, but I'm definitely interested in
Well, I've been in the cave.
It's not a super deep cave, right? It's not like
it's not nothing at all. Like, I was expecting more from it. There's definitely a lot of energy in there. Like, when I walked into that store, I went bam. I looked over, and Tiffany turns around and looks at me, and she goes, "You know where it's at." I'm like, "There's something over in that corner." And she's like, "Yes." And she looks at the guy, "I'm gonna show my friend your cave." And we just walked right through the store to the cave. I mean, you can't fit 10 people in there. Wow. It's that small. But it is definitely a cave. Like, I would expect, if it was in the side of a mountain and I'm coming up on it, I'm like, there might be a bear in there sleeping or something. I mean, it's only maybe, I say 8 feet wide by 10 feet deep by 6.5 foot high. Like, I didn't have a lot of room in there to stand up. So,
well, you're the tallest out of us all.
You're the tall guys.
we may all be still good.
Was it lower? Was it lower than our RSI basement?
I hope so, because
same height, about the same height. Brent, the other night, man, I went up and down the stairs at Bohemian House a dozen times between the walkthrough and the investigation. And the other night, walking down the last time, guess what I do? Boom, crack my head. Every freaking investigation.
Concussion.
Now.
Jared, concussion.
Oh yeah. If you haven't seen RSI 1, check it out. I call out I got a concussion. And
me and Jack are walking upstairs from the basement and it comes through like, that just said concussion.
RSI 1, check that out. It's a good one too.
Joe statement here. To me, a good thunderstorm helps charge the atmosphere with ions. And it's, yep, there you go. I mean, that's true.
That is true. So, I mean, if they use
If
ions,
that helps, yeah. I again, this is, taking that from a theory to a fact is what we need to try and be doing. Is if that helps them, why and how? What are they that they utilize that? That's my question.
Mm-hmm. So we're gonna scroll on then. Hold on. What was going on here? Sorry, folks. The chat just froze for a second. I also think the beliefs carry Jill. I also think their beliefs carry with them too. So do I, and we've captured evidence of that through Echovox and ITC, talking about scripture.
Well, hold on. I don't think that's what she's actually saying here, but maybe it is. But she's saying, I also think their beliefs carry them too. So if they think they can't, then they may not see others. So if the statement, if I'm reading this right, if Brent thinks I can see other spirits, that they can see other spirits when I pass, I'll be able to see them. But if Ed doesn't believe that, then maybe he won't, because the belief is there. Again, I don't know. To me, we can't say I'm going to believe I can't see light right now. I can't believe I believe I can't see light reflecting off of this. It's how we're designed. It's what we're designed to do. We can't just believe it and stop it. So I think whatever they are, it's got to be finite in some fashion, and it's reactive to the environment, just like anything else. My opinion.
I get you on that, and that's a good opinion. I mean, everybody has opinions. So Riley says, when I was at the Admiral Fell, I stayed in the room Gary Mick murdered Christopher Jones in. There's bars right outside, and it was loud the whole night, and I got nothing. So could noise influence if a spirit is willing to communicate and be present?
Yeah, I mean, we're all influenced by our environment,
What could have happened there, Riley, also is the noise may have closed you up as well. You got to block all that stuff out during investigations. We can't control what the outside world does. Sometimes you have to put the blinders on and block all that out.
Yeah. Was it with you guys? Oh, sorry, Brent. Go ahead.
You go ahead.
I was going to say, was it with you guys where somebody had a Fells Point connection, or was that the other team?
Fells Point?
Yeah, I think it was the other team, but it was one of the things of, we can investigate, but we got to do it at 2:30, kind of like we have with that Annapolis location we're looking at.
Yeah,
where you have to go in after a certain time.
Because
right.
Which is, it's understandable. I mean, and really, you have to look at your surroundings when you're doing something like that. If you're going to have noise all night, is it worth really doing an investigation in? And if they're not really willing to carry you, or you can build upon your investigation, is it worth you dedicating the time and resources to it?
And all right, so I want to add to this whole conversation of willingness. I think I'm going to stick with willingness to communicate, because I don't know, my gut's telling me they all have the ability. It comes down to a willingness or something stopping. So I'm going to start with this one. We all know right now, just from psychology as it exists right now, there's introverts and extroverts, right? So I'm not a very social butterfly. Someone else might be a very social butterfly. And if we are essentially the same in mind frame and who we are when we pass, which I would think makes sense, then if I'm a shy person, I may not be willing to step out and communicate. Especially if it's a large group, but maybe if it's one person and not a lot going on, I may do that. A child who doesn't have that kind of sensory built up in themselves, they're just, I want attention type of thing. Maybe that's why they step out so much and communicate, because they don't have that in them. Some do. So I think that's a big kind of piece of the puzzle when it comes to who's willing. And then going to someone stopping. I do, we had this conversation the other day about controlling spirits. And I thought about that one a little more, you know, and it's like if someone came in this house, right, and just a stranger from the road and tried to talk to my daughter, or
Yeah.
just came in, either one of you just came in and just started trying to talk to your family, right? You're the protector of the home. Yeah, you know, you're not going to let it happen, and you're going to tell your family, don't talk to him or her, whatever it is, you know, and you're going to deal with the problem.
This
You're
is
going
why
to
I try to do investigations at a location multiple times to get familiar
Right.
with the situation. And I had a conversation with somebody the other day about going back to a place. No, you want to go back to a place as many times as possible to get
if you're looking to actually get something out of it. Agreed.
what's going on.
Yeah.
You know, because I mean, first times, yeah, you can come up with assumptions, but you're not going to get the full story with the first time.
And just because you run into, I mean, think about on that level, just because you run into a situation where you think there's a controlling spirit that is saying, no one's talking to you, doesn't make that a negative spirit. It just means they're protective of anything, you know? No, you're not talking to the people who are here. I don't trust you and I don't know you.
And that's why you have to go back and go back and go back and figure out exactly what's going on at a location.
Well,
here's to go back.
Here's another thing too. Just because something happened there doesn't mean that you're going to capture something there.
Yep.
You know, a brand new house could have activity when everybody's like, "Oh, this is a brand new house. There shouldn't be a ghost here." But in a really old house, may have nothing in it, or you know, there may have been activity at that location before. But who's coming there between the time that you've looked at researching it versus the time you get in there and may have crossed spirit over, or you know, done something that tells the spirit like, you know what, I'm not talking to people no more. So there's always other factors in there.
Yeah. Well, that's probably exactly what the folks that bought the new $1 million condos that was ripped down from Gabor's house. You know what I'm saying, Brent? Like, I just spent $1 million on this freaking condo, and I got this freaking jerk in here. What the hell's going on? You know they're having. You know they're having this
heat all the way up. Why is it so cold in here?
Why is this guy changing a freaking wall? Exactly. Jill, me and Brent have been doing it, and Ed's been doing this for a long time now too. He's been doing it for about damn near 9 years. Me and Brent's been plus 20 years in this shit.
Yeah.
And that's why we keep on going, because, you know, we've got assumptions and we've got our experience, but there's still so many things that need to be more research is needed.
Even in locations that we call it, I've been to multiple times, I've seen energy shift in the location. It's like, this wasn't like this before. What happened? And then you start talking to the host of the venue and you find out some people came in there and you're like, okay, great. I mean, one of them is our favorite, the Benson Hammond, you know, and like, where's Tommy?
Yeah.
And find out through communication and, you know, and multiple devices and feelings like, okay, somebody came in here and did something they weren't supposed to, you know, and we thought Tommy got crossed over. And then Garrett and I walk in, it's like, also, I'm like, wait a second. Okay. So it's like, Tommy didn't ascend to heaven. Tommy ascended to the third floor.
And he's up on the third floor now because they tried to send him off.
Yeah.
Joe's got a good thing here. I've heard a story where two brothers that are now said to be spirits sit in a theater almost next to each other, and it's if they cannot see each other or know each other is there. Very interesting. Again, I would have to say further research is needed in that.
Yeah, me too. And I mean, you're basing this on the perception of maybe multiple people, but who knows what they've really experienced or seen. Do they have pictures?
Craft says they can interact with us from different periods, then why not each other? Exactly. That's what
I kind of agree with that too. Yeah, I mean, who knows? All I can say is we do get a lot of a lot of communication chatter where they're just talking to each other. So
yeah. I mean, guys,
whether they choose not to interact, I can sit next to my brother for a couple of hours and not talk to him either. You know, I sit next to my wife all the time and don't talk to her.
I mean, I want to visit my brother, and we went down there. I hadn't seen him in quite a few years, and it was initial, hey, how's things going? How's the kids? How's the family? Yada yada yada, and then silence.
Yeah.
And, you know, and that's what I love about having a brother, not having a sister. Kelly and her sister, back and forth. You know, me and my brother, hey, cool, what's going on? In a few
Let's turn the
years,
game on and drink a beer.
hey, what's going on, man? You know.
Sometimes a child spirit comes through. Carol over on Facebook land. Thanks for coming in, Carol.
Yeah,
Sometimes a child spirit comes through, say they can't find their mom and dad. And do you have any idea why that would happen?
You know, I actually, man, I'm really hoping that we're all able to find each other, you know, because that's one that gets me, you know, being a dad.
That's the one to get. And I think
young
at the Bohemian House, at the Bohemian House, the three children are looking for their mother and father. I think that's.
And it's like, okay, yeah. So I mean, how does it work? I mean, is the perception that when you die, you're just automatically gathered to your loved ones, or is it where you die is where your spirit is, and you know you can wander or whatever? But if you know, baby Jessica doesn't know where mommy and daddy are because she passed when she was little, and mommy and daddy moved across the country or to another country, it's going to be kind of difficult to find.
You know something, Brent? So you just said something that triggered something in my head. What do you tell a kid when you go to the store? Stay right here. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Or, hey, don't go running off. So if a child passes and that spirit is replaying that certain time in their life and mom and dad have moved on, that child is listening to what mom and dad had told them. They're staying where they were told to stay at.
I'm going to take it even a step further with just human nature. If you have a familiar surrounding, all right, or you get whatever, something happens, you typically go back to a familiar surrounding and you stay there. I mean, it's familiar, right? So if that's all a child knows is that home, yeah, they're going to go there and stay there. But if mom and dad moved away, that could be why. And
yeah,
who knows if they're out trying to find their way back.
Amber, I don't think that they do investigations, but I do think that they are curious of us sometimes.
So reading this, I gotta say that this is something that triggered me as well. Being sensitive, sometimes I wonder, like, are they talking to me and seeing if I can actually hear them, or are they just sitting there saying, okay, we're not going to do it? You know, like sometimes I might pick something and be like, hey, are you trying to tell me this right now? And then I'll get a light on, you know? So I think they're trying to interact the way that we interact sometimes without realizing what's going on.
So, and I have a thought. I mean, I would think they're probably, I guess if they're new or whatever, maybe something new, I can imagine that they're probably trying to communicate if possible, if they even care to, you know, if it's like, whatever. Think about all the things. If they can see us, then they're probably just walking by looking at us like schmuck, you know, stop picking your nose, you know.
What is it?
Look at this guy. But if you open up, you know, so for all I know, they're trying to talk to us all the time. You open up a means of communication. I've done it in here numerous times, not expecting anything because my house is not, you know, quote unquote haunted or anything. And I get communication all the time. It's like, okay, go ahead.
All right, you stay here.
Don't tell Liz.
No.
Do what?
So, I said, you stay here. Don't let the wife know.
Yeah. You don't go past that threshold.
This operation down real quick. All right. So, Jim from Restless Spirits, can you guys make a Jacob's ladder?
All right. Jacob's ladder are not the safest things to make. Yes. We can make a Jacob's ladder. I'm not going to. They are not the safest things to have around. And, you know, you do have to have some really high voltage for those. So, yeah,
we can
make one, but I have the means to make one, but I'm not going to. If I made a Jacob's ladder in that garage, my wife would probably shoot me.
Joe, it used to be the Echo Box for me. It is now the Ghost Box. However, the Ghost Box last Saturday, I think, did not say one freaking word. And we got more out of the Echo Box. But out of those two, I'm an ITC guy. Ghost Box or Echo Box for me.
Yeah, I know I used to be 100% a digital recorder. Like that was like, I want EVPs. but
Now that
ITC,
we got the,
ITC has definitely
that's our
sunk
thing.
claws into me. Ed doesn't need anything, so
Well, hold on, no, because if I was it, and that's the thing that's funny because I got me, but I would always want to take the flashlight because I can use the flashlight as a real time direct. Okay, hey, are you saying this to me right now, or use
Yeah,
that to
and I-
build upon? What I'm
yeah, and
getting
you
at.
actually have it is a serious advantage because we could all just take a flashlight too, and do that. But we'd have more of a second guess to it. Like, okay, was that random? Did something happen? Why did that go off? Where you're actually feeling something,
Yeah,
you're getting something, so you have something to confirm. Good.
Very good statement right there, Stacy.
Yes.
Very good statement, Stacy. Like I said, we only use 2 apps, and I feel that I know how those 2 apps were created and how they work completely, and I know that they work. Let's see. Please make sure. Thank you, First Capital. I appreciate that, brother.
And I mean, what is
We had
you
an
know?
SLS capture.
Hey, Courtney
Looked like it
just
was
hit one here at the
in the
bottom
chimney.
that I'm going to answer.
Guys, are you frozen?
No, can you hear me?
I hear you.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Was it Courtney
I
just
got
asked?
you. It looked like these
asked
guys
me,
were
how's
frozen
it
there
being,
for a second.
Courtney asked me about how's it being a sensitive and getting information and having to explain it to you guys. And you know something with you guys, it's great because you guys are like, oh, cool, it's got a message. There's no question about it, you know.
I'll be like, all right, everybody stop. Ed,
trying to word this the right way.
what are they
Here,
saying?
you know, but I've had some people before be like, oh, I'm not feeling that. Well, just because you're not feeling it doesn't mean I'm not getting it. You guys have been really supportive with it. You guys have actually allowed me to open up more with where I'm like, hey, you know what? I got this going on. And it's funny because Amber's told me in here, hey, you need to meditate. You know, Tiffany last week's like, stop letting people tell you what your truth is. You know what your truth is. And Desiree's real mad about it with, hey, you know what's going on. You handle yourself, you know. So it's not
Tiffany,
like with you guys, it's great.
Good. I'm glad that
Tiffany,
I'm glad.
our client out at Bohemian House, is in the chat. Tiffany Brown.
Awesome.
Tiffany, Brent, Tiffany.
What up, sis?
You'll be seeing him in January.
I'm excited for that. Yeah.
Yeah, he can't wait to get to the Bohemian House, especially after I sent him the EVP from today. Recall, thanks for stopping in, brother. Let's see, Ed, I have a playlist of meditations. Now, if you watch Ed solo in Benson Hammond, he does do a meditation session. He also does what I think is the first EchoVox Estes session. You remember that, Brent?
Yeah, exactly.
We had the earbuds in and Bluetooth. First EchoVox Estes session over Bluetooth. I think that was the first.
Hey, all right. I'm gonna just because it kind of jogged my thoughts here. All right, I had one thought here, and tell me what you guys think of this. I always like to bring up kind of a random thought of experiment. So, you know, we've always talked about dowsing rods, right? A lot of people love them. I'm really skeptical about them because of how you can move your hands and so forth. Has anybody done an Estes dowsing rod session? So you can't hear questions. You're completely blindfolded. You can't even see what these rods are doing. You're just sitting there. Someone's asking questions, and they're moving. If you have to be in contact with these things, has anybody tried that? I know we haven't. I'm asking that to kind of the chat here.
Yeah, no, we haven't tried that.
Someone try it.
Tiffany's saying this is it's a portal. It's a portal. What's a portal? I'm sorry, I went away for a little bit.
She's talking about the cave.
Oh, the cave. Okay.
Never had another question. Somebody asked that one.
Because was it she? I remember seeing that comment when we were talking about the cave. She brought it up right after the cave. I didn't realize that was her commenting that.
Did you hit up Amber's question there at 9:50? I don't know if you asked that or if you just that one. We're almost time out, but
yeah, we're almost time out. We might have to do another question and answer next week.
yeah, there's a lot of stuff here. Remember your questions, guys. If it didn't get
Next Friday question, Jared. Have you ever done any
Neil Glenn? Because penal gland?
Not that I know of. Not that I know of. Brent, have I?
No,
Voice of reason, have I done that?
I don't think so.
I don't know. I don't know.
No,
But all right.
I can tell you right now, no, you have not.
Okay. Maybe Ed has. But remember your questions. We'll do
No,
another
I am
question
horrible
next week.
about that stuff.
Yeah.
Go ahead. What's up?
You know what we need to do? We need to have like an email or something set up where people can send these questions in ahead of time.
Comment on this.
We can work our way
Put a
down.
comment to this video if you have a question to get asked, didn't get answered. Put it in the comment section on this video so that we know to answer it next time. That's an easiest thing to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Again, for the folks on YouTube, go up to the top, click that link. That's Monday's premiere from the Oddfellows Hall. We'll have another question and answer next week. We'll do another question and answer next week. So everybody that had fun tonight, come next Friday. We'll do it all over again. Give some updates and hang out for a little bit and talk in the chat. So for me,
For Brent.
And Ed.
Pasadena Paranormal, we wish you adieu, and we will not let you walk into that darkness alone. Have a good evening.
Later.